Have you ever heard a joke that was so powerful it actually broke a multi-billion-dollar piece of technology? I know it sounds wild, but today we're diving into the bizarre story of how a currency that started as a complete gag managed to expose a huge flaw in one of the world's most advanced AIs. And it all kicks off with a pretty simple question.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like the setup to a really weird joke, right? But the answer tells us something incredibly important about the future of information and, how we decide what's real and what's not online. The link between these two is way more surprising than you think.
All right, let's jump back to 2010 for a second. A kindergarten teacher in Japan posts this photo of her rescue dog Kabosu, and, well, the internet did what the internet does best. It took this adorable, kind of skeptical-looking dog and turned it into the legendary DOGE meme. You know the one, with the goofy, broken English and the Comic Sans font. It was absolute internet gold.
So what do you do with a meme that's gone completely viral and in the age of Bitcoin? Well, you create a meme coin, of course. It's basically a cryptocurrency that, unlike its super serious cousins, is literally born from internet culture. And Dogecoin, it was the OG, the one that kicked the whole thing off.
And this is the part of the story where things start to get really interesting. This is where the joke started to become, well, a lot more than just a joke. It morphed from satire into a real financial thing with a huge global community behind it. And you have to really understand the mindset here. The creators weren't setting out to build the future of finance or anything like that. They were making fun of it. They saw all this crazy hype and speculation around crypto and basically built Dogecoin as a parody. The joke was the entire point from day one.
But then, something totally unexpected happened. People didn't just get the joke. They loved it. The community just exploded, and almost right away, they started using this fun internet money to do some actual good in the world. I mean, they famously crowdfunded the Jamaican bobsled team so they could get to the Olympics. All of a sudden, the joke was doing some very serious and very wholesome things.
This all led to the community's awesome, unofficial motto, do only good every day. Doge. How great is that? It just perfectly summed up this friendly, fun, generous vibe that made it so different from the, let's be honest, often cutthroat world of other cryptocurrencies. It was all about positivity.
Okay, so we've got our friendly joke currency, built on memes and good vibes. Now let's introduce the other character in our story, a super powerful AI that has absolutely no concept of any of those things.
So when Google launched its new AI overviews, people immediately started getting some, let's just say, interesting advice. Like this little nugget telling people to eat rocks. It pulled that from a satirical article on The Onion and just presented it as a straight-up fact.
It didn't stop there. It also confidently claimed that running with scissors has health benefits, just kind of mashing together different sources to create some seriously dangerous nonsense.
And my personal favorite, it recommended using glue to get cheese to stick to pizza. Where'd it get that from? An 11-year-old sarcastic comment on Reddit? The AI read the words, but the joke flew right over its head.
So, what in the world is going on here? Is the AI just broken? Is it secretly trying to ruin our pizza night? Not quite. The problem is actually a lot deeper than that. This phenomenon is what experts call an AI hallucination. And here's the key thing to get. The AI isn't thinking. It's basically a superpowered text summarizer. It scrapes billions of data points, from news articles to satire websites to sarcastic Reddit comments, and it tries to stitch it all together into an answer. It has no idea what context, humor, or irony is. It just sees patterns in text. And this is the moment. This is where our two stories just smash right into each other. What happens when you feed a completely literal-minded AI a subject that is built from the ground up on jokes, memes, and totally unpredictable human silliness?
You get pure chaos. See, the world of Dogecoin isn't driven by boring financial reports. It's driven by stuff like this. Elon Musk tweeting a picture of a painting with the caption, "Doge barking at the moon." Now, to any human who's been online, that's a clear reference to the crypto slang to the moon. But to an AI, it's just random words and a picture. It's just data.
And this whole roller coaster is completely driven by human emotion and weird internet culture. Every tweet, every joke, every time it gets mentioned on TV, it creates this huge, unpredictable spike in data. For an AI that's just trying to find factual statements, this is an absolute nightmare. The entire history of Dogecoin is basically a collection of inside jokes, the one thing this AI literally cannot process.
Now, this might all seem pretty funny, just a weird internet story. But it actually points to a much, much bigger question about where we get our information from now and who, or maybe what, we can actually trust.
This chart just nails the core of the problem. On one side, you have human intent. We make jokes, we build communities, we do absurd things for fun. On the other side, you have the AI's interpretation. All it sees are data patterns and literal information. So when you ask an AI about Dogecoin, its training data is flooded with quotes from its own creators saying it's a joke, and the community saying it's just a joke currency. The AI, with zero human context, comes to a perfectly logical but completely wrong conclusion. Well, if it's a joke, then it must not be real.
So, what are we supposed to do about this? Well, funny enough, the rules for checking out a new cryptocurrency work surprisingly well for checking an AI's answer. Number 1, always check the sources. Where is it getting this info from? Is it a legit news site or The Onion? Understand the source's whole reason for existing. Look at what actual people are saying about the topic. And finally, see if the original info comes from someone who actually knows what they're talking about. The old saying holds true: don't trust, verify.
And that really brings us to the big final thought here. The story of Dogecoin and the confused AI is way more than just a funny tech glitch. It's a perfect example of the current limits of artificial intelligence. Because if our most powerful, most advanced systems can't even tell the difference between a fact and a punchline, what does that really mean for the future of truth itself?